In this video, we're going to go over a trade I took on October 2nd of last month. It was a short for Australian dollar, Canadian dollar. I'm just going to go over all the time frames and what was happening on each one just real quick to show y'all what I was seeing and how all the time frames, although weren't perfect, they were all showing a edge to the downside when I took the trade short. And I'm going to go over each time frame just quickly. This is the monthly, this is the daily on the bottom, and then the weeklies on the top right. And then I will show you what the lower time frames are doing at the time of entry. Every trade is not going to be picture perfect, but if you go through all the time frames and really study what's going on, you can find an edge, and it's better when you have multiple time frames lining up. And again, they won't all be perfect, but you can definitely see an edge on all of them, and some of them are going to be cleaner. And when the daily is the cleanest, that's typically good for my style of trading, where I want the trade to last a couple days to 5 days, somewhere in that area. So right here on the monthly chart, on the top left here, you can see it had been breaking down so far this year and was coming back, and it formed this nice new lower low and was coming back up to retest this strong support and resistance line around 0.964. And the month that I took it was October, so it hadn't necessarily closed for a break of the monthly 50 MA or this trend line, which is showing up on the monthly, but the trend line is really down here on the daily. But the monthly needed a pullback. It had been going to the upside for some time and was looking like a good area where it could pull back some. On the weekly, same thing that you're seeing on the monthly. It had been trending down for some time and was pulling back, and there was some room for it to pull back to the 50 MA at the time of the trade, which the trade was taken right here and on this green candle. That's just showing the pullback to the area. I'm sorry, it was the candle after the green candle. After it had pulled back, the next week is where I took the trade short. So right here on the daily, the higher time frames were lining up for room for a short, and on the daily, it was what really made me want to take it short at the time of entry. You can see all in large this daily. You can see it had been trending up for some time, forming lower lows, or excuse me, higher lows and higher highs, and it had come up here and it was failing to break this 0.964 line and forming a small triangle. And once it broke this trend line and came back and retested with some nice deceleration, these two candles right here, this red one and this green one, that is called a tweezer top. So it was showing good deceleration, and I got in on this candle right here on the 2nd of October. Right here. So that's where I went short, and I will go down to the lower time frames now and show y'all exactly where it was entered. So on my lower time frame charts, I have the 4-hour up here on the top left, the 1-hour down here, and the 5-minute chart. And as you can see on the 4-hour chart, this is that same 964 area that was on the daily where it was failing to break above it, and this was that breakdown and pullback, and this is where I got in. The 4-hour was not as clean as the 1-hour at the time of entry, but again, that daily, that tweezer top, candle formation on the daily, and the deceleration is the main reason I got in this trade. And on the 1-hour chart, this is where I got in, and as you can see at the time of entry, it kind of consolidated right after the entry, and then finally broke down on the 6th of October, which was 4 days after I had entered the trade, and ended up coming down and finally taking me out on the 12th of October for a full 2.9% profit. And the trade did end up continuing down for some time, and the main reason I got out at this this level, this 0.942 level, was because of the daily. You can see there was some support here, and it had been ranging in this area, and I just wanted a quick 3% trade and get out. Right here is where my trade was closed. There was no way to tell that it was going to keep falling, but again, that's just part of trade management. You need to stick to your plan. I'm still happy with the 3% profit on this trade, even though it could have gone down for another 3%. But at the time of entry, this was my plan, and I stuck to it. And if you can keep making 3% trades, I will take those all day. So the going back to the lower time frames, you can see this trade did take a little longer to break down after the entry than I typically like, but there was no reason to shut it down. I kept it live and let it play out. You need to always, when you enter a trade, you need to think about why you entered it, and if all those factors are still in effect, then let the edge play out, and this ended up playing out in my favor. So I hope that kind of shows y'all a clean trade that had all time frames kind of lining up for a decent risk reward. These are the trades where your edge is defined and you can see it clearly on multiple time frames. So again, I just wanted to show you a quick example of a clean setup from last month that I took for roughly 3% profit. If y'all have any questions on this trade or any other trades from last month, just comment below and I will be happy to help. Thanks.